Hello guys, this is Mick Stott again. I apologise for the state of my hair. I can't do a flipping thing with it this morning, and I remember it when these used to be footpaths, but there you go. I've got to be careful to not rub it too much because it just falls out. Yeah, I just wanted to spend a bit of time talking to veterans and serving personnel, because I'm all for loyalty. When I joined the military, I joined to serve my Queen and country, and there's a hint in that, Queen and country. Governments come and go and they do their own thing, and of course they're only supposed to do that with consent of the Queen, but essentially, with what I discovered, and certainly with what I've looked at, it is definitely of interest to people that are currently serving and also our veterans. Can we trust our government? What have we learned from the past? If we don't learn from the past, we're always in danger of repeating it. And of course, why would we trust our government? 3,500 investigations by IHAT. Look at the investigations that are still ongoing with Northern Ireland. And people think it's just one or two people that are being investigated, but it runs into the hundreds with Northern Ireland. And yet everyone else after the Good Friday Agreement was allowed to just go on with their lives merrily. Just look at the suicides that came from IHAT. Look at the people that it impacted upon, the ripples that it sent through families of guys that thought they were being protected because they were serving Queen and country, and they weren't. It was as simple as that. So I have some significant questions around loyalty and why should we take care of people that are not taking care of us. I've been involved in mental health for a long time, and when I looked at the vaccine damage that happened as a result of the Gulf War syndrome, as it was called, the impact that it had on young men and their families. Whatever you do to one person, that just creates ripples. So for me, the government has always been in question. If we look at the reasons we've gone into conflicts, it's always been in question for me, even though I served for 30 years. And I've learned to trust in what people do, not what they say. And that's what I'm currently seeing at this moment in time. I'm currently seeing what the government are doing. And I have a challenge with the justifications that they're using to do what they do. Governments seldom take powers with the idea of ever giving them back. That just doesn't happen in reality, because that's not the way it works. And of course, I have no reason to trust Doris, because if I look at what happened even after the Brexit deal and serving personnel, I reckon there's a number of serving personnel that are probably not even aware of what they did. If you look at Brockbank, Langley and Robbins, 3 civil servants, I might add, not ministers, civil servants, signed us up to 8 EU contracts under the gaze of May and Doris. They signed us up to 8 EU contracts that basically put us under the direction of the EU. So at this moment in time, if you actually think you're serving a British force, you're not. Major General Thompson highlighted this, and his biggest concern was we were going to lose sovereignty, that we would no longer have the right as a country to say no if the EU was involved in something that we did not want to be involved in at the level of a conflict. So I think, as a serving person, I would start to ask this question: why are they reducing the numbers at the rate they're reducing them? And why are they mothballing equipment? Why are they doing what they're doing at the level of EU activity and exercise? Well, it's quite simple. Because you fall under that oligarchy, which is the EU, a non-elected body, but a very rich body in terms of its finances. Now, the implications of this go even further than that, because ultimately, all defence procurement, all defence tasking, security, home security, will all fall under the EU. You will have less and less of a say as a British force. Never in history has that ever happened, by the way, guys. We've always been sovereign. We've always fought for sovereignty, and we've always maintained that, but no longer. And that came into effect in January 21, coincidentally. Because now as we look at how COVID is being used as a political tool, there's no surprises that all of these things seem to have happened at the same time. And of course, I signed up for Queen and Country, and the clue is in Queen and Country. But if we look at what the Queen did in 2001, she signed us up to the Nice Treaty, which again, literally, at that point, we came under and aligned to the EU on a level that we've never been aligned before. So in fact, what she did was she gave up her sovereignty. And as such, there were a number of barons that invoked Article 61 of the Magna Carta, because the Queen is supposed to serve us and we are supposed to serve her in return. We are being governed by consent, essentially. We're being led by consent. And of course, the government is a separate entity that is supposed to serve us and the Queen. But in reality, it's not the case, because at this moment in time, the government are doing what they want. They prove that by the number of statutes and laws and acts that they've introduced. Now, it's worth remembering that your basic human laws, your basic human rights, are always above legislation. They are higher than legislation. And yet, we see the government dictating to some of its agents to break the law and applying that legislation. And that's exactly what they are doing. I'm increasingly getting contacted by uniformed personnel, ex-police, ex-forces. And they are really, really suspicious of what is going on right now, for all the right reasons, I might add. So your loyalty, I can tell you now, is misplaced. We have no reason to be loyal to people that have already sold us over to the EU. Don't believe me in anything I'm telling you. Go and look for yourselves. It's there. It is there. So go and take a look. And of course, the strategy that's being deployed at the moment is to coerce people, incentivize people into this jab. Never in history has a vaccination been pushed on this level before the way that it's being pushed. And of course, they say it's in our interest. It's in the interest of our safety and the interest of our health. Why would you take a vaccine or a jab that does not give you immunity, that does not stop it from spreading, and does not stop variants from being established as a result of the virus that you're supposedly immunizing people against? And of course, they talk about the Nuremberg Code. I don't know if you're aware of the Nuremberg Code, but this was established exactly for this reason, so that nobody, no group of people could ever experiment on human beings again. But that's exactly what is happening when you say yes to the jab, or when you're forced to receive the jab. Because you say no, you lose your right to bodily integrity. It is basically the most basic human right that we have, along with all the others that are currently being lost because of this strategy that is being wheeled out across the country. Loyalty is a fantastic thing, but when it's misplaced and then you realize you've been duped, it comes at a hard price. It comes with a hard price. I'm going to invite veterans and soldiers out there to question what is going on. You can't be given informed consent if no one knows to what extent you're going to be damaged by this experiment that's being wheeled upon you. That's not informed consent. Informed consent is, we have done a number of trials, we have done a number of studies, and these are the findings of those, so that you can make a decision based on informed consent as to whether or not you want to lose your bodily integrity, as to whether or not you want to receive this treatment. Informed consent and bodily integrity isn't just about the jab. It's about the use of masks that are detrimental to your health. It's about doing things that are detrimental to your mental health and your mental well-being. All of that is informed consent. And of course, what Doris is finding it challenging to do now is to make his mind up over which is effective and what isn't effective. It's a surprise to me that he's now telling you that lockdowns are the things that worked. No, it's not, because he wants to lock you down even more. If you honestly believe that Doris is going to let you out, you're kidding yourselves. There is a bigger issue here. There is a global issue. And the only way we're going to stop it is by saying no. I'm saying to veterans and serving personnel, say no. As tough as that is, stand up, be counted. Join us. We are the Guardians 300. We are going to produce more constables than currently exist as a police force. Ask yourself this one question. Why did they change the name from constabulary to police force? And that happened when we joined the EU, the European, the common market as it was then. You know, these are very subtle things, but actually what's happened over the period of time since the Second World War is we've become too comfortable. We've given our government far too many powers and too many opportunities to do what they're currently doing to us right now. Veterans, soldiers, stand to. Join us on Guardians 300 on Telegram. We are going to be standing between the agents of the government and the people that we signed up and gave our oath to protect, and more importantly to protect the cornerstones of our democracy. Join us on the 300, because we're going to make a difference.